So it's 4 a.m. on a Sunday morning, and I'm finally getting around to doing the Ultimate Beginner's Crafting Guide for Star Wars: The Republic. Um, this is one of those ones where it's a deeper video, so I wanted to get into the game a little bit more and fully commit. The past few months, since the beginning of the year, so we're going almost 6 months now. I've been doing just tons of game guides around some of the classes, doing storyline playthroughs and stuff. But I was saving crafting for last because crafting for me has always been the tipping point of when I go from um, just like free to play over to VIP. And I made that switch the other day, so I was like, oh, I'm back into it. All right, it's time to do the crafting guide. So I've played this game since launch. And I've always dabbled for a few months out of the year. Usually I'll play it for like 3 months. I'll usually buy a 3-month block and I'll go through the most recent expansion content, which I haven't done in a hot minute. But the guides have been doing it all been the level 1 to 50 content, so it didn't matter. I'm sort of wrapping that part of the project up now, and I was looking at, well, you know, the vote the other day was people want more Star Wars: The Republic content. I was like, you know what, I should just sub up and go through the most recent expansion content, and along the way I can do my crafting guides, which I would been talking about doing for a while anyway. So this is the first one. I'm rambling. This is the Ultimate Beginner's Guide. There'll be some advanced stuff that we'll talk about in a different episode, but for today we're going to be starting with a character that doesn't have any trade skills, crew skills, and we're going to learn those. We're going to pick up a career tonight and take this character through on that career path. I've also got on this server, I'm going to be going arms tech with this character. I've also got my original crafters on a different server. So on this server, I started the other day I forgot the artificer. My brain was wondering what the name was. So I started an artificer the other day, got that up to around 300. Now I'm going to work on my arms tech, get that up to about 300, and then I'm going to do a synthweave character, and then a cyber tech character. That should cover all of my needs for the next 3 months easily. That covers, I think, all of my characters for the most part. So, welcome. Today we're going to be going through and picking up our first crew skill, which in this case is going to be arms tech. We're going to get into that in a moment. So the first thing you want to do is head over to the Stronghold and Cruise Skills section, which if you're on the Coruscant side of things, on the Public Fleet. It's the same thing on the Sith side. Just look for the section that says Strongholds and Cruise Skills, and you're going to want to come over here, and you're immediately going to notice that in one chamber there are the crafting trainers. In another chamber there are the mission, I believe these are the mission ones. Yeah, the mission trainers. And in the final corridor here, or the final room, we're going to have the gathering trainers, essentially. So, there are 3 different parts of crafting in this game. And you're going to need 1 skill for each one. These are called crew skills. So if I would hit the B button and open up my companion section for crew skills, I have 3 slots for crew skills trainer. Now here's a very important thing to understand about crafting in this game. You are only given 2 basic skill slots if you are free to play. And this is why I was talking earlier about usually when I'm ready to make the commitment to get back into crafting is when I'll VIP. Because when you go VIP, you get that 3rd slot given to you as a subscription. I have VIP'd every time I've ever played this game, every single year since it launched, and I've always been VIP, and this is the first time I've been free to play. So I found that personally, and I want to put this out there for people. I love this game. I've not found it nickel and dimes you. Some people say that, but a lot of people like to complain about monetization of games when they're free to play. I'm not one of those people. I've never felt limited playing Star Wars: The Republic. I just did 6 months of game guides around all sorts of different things and never once felt limited by the free to play option. But when you're on free to play or preferred, you're only going to have 2 crew skill slots, which makes it a challenge to do crafting because you actually need 3. So there are one of 2, well, there's actually 3 options, I guess, if you consider the referral program. If you refer someone, you get a 3rd crew skill slot. So that's a nice perk to getting people to come play the game. You get a referral, you'll get that crew skill slot. You can also buy it from the store, and this is what I would honestly recommend to anyone who's planning on playing this game for the long duration, the long term. Buy it from the store because it pays for itself in spades once you actually own it, as opposed to what I've done over the years with VIP, which is rent it. Now, if you're okay with renting it, that's fine. That's a conscious decision. But if you're a free-to-play player, the focus is usually on how am I going to be able to get the most enjoyment out of this game for the least amount of possible. Look for deals. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with being frugal. So you would go in here and go to Cruise Skill, hit search, and it's going to come up to unlock that crew skill slot. I think it's solo. If you just buy it for your character, it's 420. Don't do that. Don't ever do that. Just save, grind up, and when you have 950 cartel coins as of this recording, go buy it for the whole account. That way, every time you make a character, you'll be able to do crafting always without ever needing a VIP subscription. That would be a great purchase in my mind. But again, you also get it as a VIP. I've not purchased this yet. Here's why. I only have 900 coins in my balance right now. I finally, after years of saving up my coins over these 6 months of doing free to play, I actually spent all my coins. Finally. I've been stockpiling for a long time. And especially if you have the app, if the security app, you're just automatically getting coins every single month. It's great. I've bought a bunch of account-wide purchases over the last few months. It's been totally worth it. And this one I need more coins for. When I was doing the cost analysis, it was like, well, if I'm gonna spend 1,000 coins anyway, it's gonna be this much money. But I also need to buy this for the store, this for the store, this for the store. I was like, that's gonna be like 1,500 coins. It's going to cost me this amount of money. What if I just VIP'd again for 3 months? Got the 1,500 coins because they give you the 200 coins per month. Plus, I'll get access to all that stuff along the way to make the content, and then I can just make the purchase afterwards. And I was like, sold. So, food for thought when it comes to how do you get access to all the crew skills that you need for crafting, because it is going to be an important part of this. You do need all three of these. So, again, there's a crafter. You have the crafting skill. You also have the mission skill and the gathering skill. How do those work? So you can come in here and talk to these to get greater explanations, but there are multiple crafting classes in this game. There's synth weaving, which is like leather, leather and cloth, and it's more complex than that. There's more to it, but that's essentially what that is. Armor mech makes armor and mods and stuff. Biochem makes the stims and things of that nature. Artificing makes like crystals, dyes, and like color crystals and stuff. Also mods for lightsabers. And that guy's mods for armor. And then over here you've got Arms Tech, which makes blasters as well as mods for blasters. And Cyber Tech, which does things like the earpieces and like some other stuff, and they make speeders as well. And I've always wanted to make my own speeder. So one of the things I'm going to be doing on this server over the next few months is I'm going to be doing cybertech, because I really want to make my own speeders, because I think that sounds really, really cool. I took artificing with my I have a level 71 or 73, sorry, level 73 Jedi in this server who I'm working through Onslaught right now with. That's my original character from back in the day, and I've got him set up with artificing, and then this character is going to do arms tech, which is blasters. So once I've decided that I want to do that for my character, I would come here, click this character, and it says you have chosen to learn arms tech as your first crew skill. You may learn up to 3. Only 1 can be a crafting skill. So it's important for those of you who want to do that. You can have 2 gathering if you want. If you just want to be a gatherer, it's your choice. So I'm choosing arms tech, which now if I were to open up my arms, the crew skill again, like so with the B key, I would now have this arms tech ability. I could click on that here, or I could click on it next to one of my characters to access the recipes that I currently have, and they are these things. So it's not a great amount of options at the moment. They're just not there. So how do we remedy that? We will go over here to the missions area, and we will pick up an appropriate mission. Now, there are lots of different ways you can do this. I want to say that for this one, it's underworld trading, but I could be off, so we're going to go look at this. I would highly recommend that you Google your decisions before you choose them, because there's so much data out there now. arms tech. It's investigation, actually. So, investigation is what we want. Now, when you come through here the first time and talk to these NPCs, they will have a description for you, and that'll go into your codex. So if you want more information, you can just dive into your codex and read it here. Now, the missions, if we look at the missions, that will have spawned now in one of the crew slots. You can also click on it next to a given character, and that'll bring up these missions that I can choose from. One yields grade 1 research compounds, the other one yields research compounds as well. The contents, the rewards will vary based on what's offered for that tier. So we'll have different things that we can pull from the mission, and it's going to be the exact same scenario here. We're going to pick up, what did it say? Scavenging, which is right here. So we're going to pick up the scavenging skill. We're going to train this. Okay. Now, if I want to come in here, I can send my characters out on missions by bringing up that B key. And I can click on one of the appropriate icons for either arms tech, scavenging, or investigation. When I do, it's going to open up this window. If it's the crafting one, looks like this, because you've got, you know, your actual drop downs for the recipes. But the missions, whether it's the investigation or the scavenging, they look like this. So there's options to choose from. The options are very limited when you first start off. Also, you only have a handful of characters, crew members to share in this operation with you. A lot of people will recommend that if you're going to really get into crafting, wait until you've got at least one character that's gone through the level 1 to level 50 content, because that progression is fairly quick. That's about 25 hours of gameplay. By that point, you'll be level 50 with, you know, half a dozen, you know, companions or more at your disposal, and the more companions you have, you could send a total of, as a VIP, I'm not sure about on free-to-play, but on VIP you can have a maximum of 8 crew members sent out at any given time. So once you have a list of these, by the way, you'll get more options available here as we go along. Also, we're currently only in grade 1, but there's 10 grades of materials. Each grade is relevant to a level tier within the game. So, you know, when you're making, you'll see what I mean, you know, but we level from 1 to 600, so it's quite deep. It does go fairly fast compared to some other games. I did 1 to 300 last night in about 2 hours. I just sat here and streamed with the community and just full on just ground out crafting missions for 2 hours and got to level 300 across all 3 of my crew skills. So I mean, if you wanted to, and you want to keep your character in crafted gear the whole way through the level 1 to 50 campaign, it doesn't take that much time, but you have to have at least a couple of characters at your disposal, and those missions do start taking quite a bit of time. It'll take, you know, 7 minutes or so, you know, or more, you know, just depending on the mission, to send a character out. I mean, things get quite long, so food for thought. The more companions you have, the better it is for speed of crafting. Anyway, got sidetracked. Scavenging, we need, right now we can get scavenged compounds or metals. We actually need both of these. So we're going to pick a character, and we're going to say, okay, you go off. Risha right now is the one I have selected. You go off and do scavenged metal. We're going to send companion.
I'll get right to work on it.
And then we're going to tell you, go do the scavenged compounds.
I'll do what I can.
Okay, those have a minute and 45 seconds, whatever it is. They get progressively longer the more difficult they get. You also get more options to choose from, and then it's the same rotation for each tier. So now we want to go into research compounds here from the investigation side of things, and the reason is because when you do a crafting recipe, if we go up here into arms tech, if I want to make a shotgun for my character, right, I need carboplast, but I need Desh arms assembly component. What is that? Well, that requires silica, Desh, and conductive flux. The flux is going to be a fuel which can be bought at a vendor here. You can also get it from some of the missions. Desh is a metal, silica is a compound. Those both come from the scavenging option in missions, so that's where I get that from. Now over here we've got the carboplast. That's a researched compound. So The researched compounds and stuff are going to be coming from the investigation line. So I need both of those if I want to be able to make the totality of recipes that are going to be available to this character. You start off, you only have a handful of recipes, right? That's all you've got access to. But while we're working on crafting our first few recipes, we're going to run back down the hall, back to our original trainer for arms tech. This is important because as we start to level up, recipes are going to start to become available to us here, and we're going to want to take advantage of that by being on hand to learn the new recipes, slot them into our rotation, and go from here. So I gained influence with my crew member, and I got a couple pieces of silica.
I had some problems.
He failed, so I didn't get anything from him, although I did get some reputation for him. So that sucks, but it happens when they're getting new into things. So if we want to, we turn them right back around to scavenge whatever's available. Right now there's only 2 missions. Later on we'll have, 8 missions or whatever, and we have to choose. Do we send everybody out on scavenging missions, or we do like 4 and 4? Or do we do 2 and 2 and have 4 people crafting items? Because crafting items gets to be very time consuming as well. It's a really good system. Ooh, we got a schematic for an Avenger chest guard, which requires synth weaving. That's great, because that means we're going to be holding on to that, and we can stick it in our bank, legacy bank, and share it with other characters on my account, which is awesome. All right, we can send them out again, get some more research materials.
I will deliver what you request.
You're going to repeat this process until you've got enough to make your first few arms tech recipes. I'm not going to make you sit here through all of that, but we'll do a little bit here so you guys understand the process. But there is a lot of grind here. This is not like World of Warcraft where it's an automated crafting system. This is very much hands-on. So you've got to be here. You can't obviously walk away once you've started the crafting process. It might be 15 minutes before everybody's done. Longer. There's lots of different time values. I'm just throwing numbers out there. I'm going to minimize the game, and I'm going to go work. I'm going to work on a short story. I'm going to go do some social media. I'll make a Discord post, work on video editing. I will find some work to do for 15 minutes while I'm waiting for the crafting to finish. And then I'll come back, get everything that, got completed, and turn everybody around on new missions and go work some more. So,
I had some problems.
We still need some more conductive flux. Well, that's an easy solution. I'll show you where to get that. Whoa, there's actually a mission here right now. To get some conductive flux. So let's send a companion out.
You'll be satisfied.
But just to show you,
Call when I got something.
anywhere on the fleet station you're at in the crafting area, same place where the crew skills are, you're going to find an NPC, I think it's the third room, an NPC who sells fuels. It's the crew skill trade vendor. So for example, I need, what was it here? Conductive flux. So I go here and I look for conductive flux.
Price is this side of the galaxy. You check.
Alphabetical here, so there it is right there. Now, if I want to buy an individual, I'll just right-click. If I want to buy a slot, stack of it, I can hold. I think it's Control and then drag drop over to my inventory. Nope, that was not it. Shift and Control. There we go. And I'm just going to buy 49 of these to give me a stack of 50 total.
I take pride in my work.
Okay.
Appreciate your business.
Now we go back over here. Alright, I can actually make 2 of these now. So here's what I'm going to do real quick. Is I'm going to task each one of these individuals with making one of these. So we're going to say craft. We're going to send him out on one. And we're going to have Akavi do the same thing. Same recipe.
Trained to do such
So
things.
as you can see, they're both doing it. Countdown to 20 seconds. Very quickly. We're going to get some points in arms tech.
What
It
can I say?
might not
Bad
be
day,
enough to get us to the next tier, but we'll see.
Just what you asked for.
Okay, send these guys out back on scavenging again.
Should be easy enough.
Call when I got something.
Notice that I have a whole slew of missions are now popping up. Different tiers as well.
Should have
Green,
no complaints.
yellow, You know, these are all the difficulty level. Eventually they'll go gray when they lose difficulty. So you get to choose how, you know, orange being very difficult, you know, but you get to choose which missions you're sending people out on. All right. We finished those. That was not enough to get us a ding to the next tier, but we can make one more of these. And what can you make? Well, unfortunately, I need 4 of those before I can actually make my first weapon. So I have to keep making Desh arms assembly components, and those require Desh and silicon. So I need a lot more metal. So we're going to send him out for more metal.
I will deliver what you request.
So now we've got 3 people out on scavenging missions, and only 1 doing crafting. Now if I wanted to, because I don't really have anything else I can craft at the moment because I need more stuff. I need more metal, so I'm going to send him out. Is there more metal? Is there another metal mission? No, but there is a scavenge compound missions. We're always going to need more compounds. Now I have 4 assigned, and I've selected all but 1 of these scavenging missions for tier 2. And again, the higher level you go, the more options you have, the more difficulties you can choose from, and then eventually we'll get to grade 2, and then grade 3, and grade 4 as we level up the character. Hey everyone, Renfail here with the commercial part of the video where I say, hey, if you like this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you never miss an update. And thanks to all of our supporters here on YouTube and over on Patreon, our highest members, our guild champions, Crazy's Relative, Remy D here on YouTube. And don't forget, if you want to support, it's really easy. You can do the memberships below, the Adventurers Guild, 3 different tiers. There's also the super thanks on any uploaded video or YouTube short that you find. There's also, of course, the super chats and stickers that you could do on any live stream or premiere, and the Patreon page if you want to dive into the fantasy world that I have with my brother and my wife, which is a tabletop game, a point-and-click adventure game, and a fantasy book series. All are great ways to keep this channel going and me going full-time. Thanks again for those of you who support. Let's get back to the video that you're watching now. Alright, so now we actually have a green plus sign next to the ArmsTech Crafty Trainer right now, which means that I am ready to actually train new recipes. It means there's new recipes available. So I'm going to right click on him, and I'm going to make sure that I have the trainable selected in the drop down filter. And I have Carbo Silent Blaster Pistol and Carbo Plas Onslaught Blaster Pistol that I can learn for 40 credits a piece. By the way, crafting is pretty expensive. I burned through 250,000 credits in 2 hours the other night, working on that other character from level 1 to 300. It was about 250,000 credits to get to 300. And that got me all of the recipes from this guy. It bought me all my fuels, and it paid for the missions, because you have to pay for the missions. It's a way of sucking money out of the economy. So it can be expensive if you're a new player, but it pays off in the long run. It totally does. So we have some more recipes now. So if I went in here and now I have not just wieldable, but actual blaster pistols. And later on I can make blaster rifles and lots of different things. As you level up, you get more recipes that you can learn from. So in this case, it has these blaster pistols. You look at the stats on each one, you can preview how they look with the control left click. That's a pretty horrific looking blaster if I had to say so myself. That thing's massive. I believe the other one looks exactly the same. It does. We can't look at the vibro knife or the shotgun. I don't think they're previewable. But anyway, we can now make a couple of blasters. So if I wanted to make blasters, it says the minimum level for this item is a level 10. So this is a level 10 blaster that we're making that we can make for an alt, as an example. And it requires Carboplas and Desh Arms Assembly component. So we still need some more of those. So let's go ahead and close this down, and we're going to create a Desh.
Easy enough.
We're going to have you do a Desh.
Think I can pull this off.
Alright, perfect. I'm going to send this guy out to do a compound mission. He might not be able to. Let's send this guy. Also notice one of the things I was just looking at, the tier of your
This may be my best
crew
work
member
yet.
affects a lot of different things,
Sounds
and it will
promised.
tell you in this column right here, right underneath, before you click Send Companion, there is an overview that says what the bonuses are for this character, and that your relationship with that character will change. You can do the drop down and say, and look up here, the cost for the mission will change, or excuse me, not the cost, but the time it takes as an example. Go back and choose CR1. It takes 2 minutes 22 seconds versus with Risha it's 1 minute 48 seconds because I'm much higher faction with her because I've leveled up her relationship essentially with the gifts that you can give to your companion and choosing the right things in conversations that appeal to that character, so on and so forth. And they have different efficiencies. So in this case, she has a 25% efficiency versus him having a 1 and a 1.5%. Anyway, I could send him out on something. Compounds.
I will exceed your expectations, Master.
Alright, let's make a blaster pistol, can we? What are we missing here? Nothing. Wonder why it says 0. Blaster pistol. There we go. I just had to refresh the page. What are the stats I like more? For my gunslinger, for this guy. Looks like right now I'm focused most on weapons that have mastery and endurance. So I'm primarily looking for something that's higher in mastery than it is in endurance. So these are both about the same. 13, 18. So I'm going to take this one because it's higher mastery as an example. And I would click it, and I would tell her to go craft it.
I'll get right to work on it.
Now that immediately is much longer. It's, 2 hours and 2 minutes, not 2 hours. 2 minutes and 25 seconds. They get progressively longer as you get into this. So while they're doing that, in order to further level up the arms tech, I need to keep making recipes. So I'm going to need that dash assembly component for everything. So the one thing you're going to be grinding the most at is going to be the actually, well, I had her, I assumed both of hers, but that's fine. You're going to want to keep looking for these, and you're going to just grind these the whole way through every given tier, because these are the assembly components to everything else. So really what it comes down to is splitting the time between however many companions you have. If you have 6 companions, 8 companions, whatever, send half of them out to do harvesting missions and half of them to do your investigation missions, because you're going to need components from both sides of that fence to do this. So I have looks like 1, 2, 3. I have 4 companions at my disposal that I can send out. Well, 5, but he's already out on a mission. So we can do. Let's do one more here. Research compounds. Send him.
You're not expecting perfection, right?
And then let's do scavenging. We definitely need more metals, and we're definitely going to need compounds. Also going to use more metals. Always more metals. So send them out. Those are all of my companions tasked at this point. If I had more companions,
My results were less than ideal, Master.
I could do more missions.
There is no excuse for this failure.
We'll send him right back out on another investigation mission. Let's do yellow because he's a lower
Your peace of
tier,
mind
and I
is
don't want
my
him to
highest
fail
priority.
high level missions.
Rest assured, this will be done to perfection.
So from here, it's literally just rinse, repeat until you can make the things that you want to make, and either use those to gear your own character out or send those to your alts. Now, everything plays off of each other. So as I'm doing these investigations, I'm going to get materials that don't necessarily fit my crafting type. It won't be very often, but I will get rares and things that are for somebody else, like a slicing thing or an underworld trading thing. Save those because you're going to want to give those to your alts if you're doing multiple crafters, which I am doing. It's masochistic, but it is what it is. But I want to get to the point where I can make more stronghold stuff, and it's funny how I've never gotten into crafting hardcore. I did crafting when the game first launched years and years ago, but I never got into crafting in this game, but I love it in other games. And I've never done the housing in this game. I've always just ever done adventures, and now I'm getting into crafting and housing, and I'm just like, it's a lot of fun. So anyway, that is crafting in a nutshell. Now, he just finished that first blaster, so if I were to go into my inventory, I now have the blaster.
Think you like Capcom.
And I can equip it from here if I want to. But there's something else I want everybody to focus on. Let's go ahead and send these back out for
I'll get right to work on it.
missions, scavenge compounds.
I'll do what I can.
And you're done, so we'll send you back out on more scavenging. All right. So the next part of crafting.
Deliver or what?
All right, hang on. I gotta keep sending people out again.
You'll be very happy.
I take pride in my work.
Just every time I want to start talking, they're like coming back for, from missions. All right.
I will deliver what you request.
Do we have a few moments? Maybe not. If it pops again, I'm just going to ignore it. There's a button up here in the top left where it says deconstruction. Now that button is very important when you're grinding things out because
Section delivered on
the
schedule.
only way to, well, not the
My
only
pleasure to
way,
serve.
but you'll get schematics from drops, so out in the world and flashpoints and stuff, completing different missions and conquests. But you can also get new schematics, not just from training at your trainer, but also deconstructing items that you've made, which gives you a chance for that to give you a higher level schematic. So one of the things I would do if I was grinding up, and maybe grind out 5 blasters. And then at the end of that process, I'm going to deconstruct all 5 of them at once and see if I get a rare out of that. So let's see how that works. Well, you would click the deconstruct button. That's going to pop up this window, right? And then you can just right click the item that you want to deconstruct and put it in here. You can also do other things that are dropped as an example. I think we could do all of these things if we wanted to. So let's do some earring pieces as well. Oh, that's destroying them. Never mind. I was thinking that was deconstructing them as well. So it's only the crafted items. Potential to learn schematics. Deconstruct. So I got back things, and it says I learned the schematic Nail Steel Onslaughter Blaster Pistol. So we're going to collect those materials, close this window down. We're going to go back into our crafting window, and we should have a brand new blaster pistol that's a different tier now. This is purple, not blue. So this is a much better pistol. This is like the crit version. However, it requires a power tube, which is from slicing. I don't have slicing to make that. So if I wanted to get that item, I would either need to have a character that can do slicing, another character, an alt, or I go buy it off the broker. Buying it off the broker is
inspired.
ridiculous because you're going to spend inflation prices, and they're not fair. So don't do that. Just unless you're an older player and you have millions of credits at your disposal, it's going to be a far more economic solution to just do these on your own if you're a brand new player. This is the ultimate beginner's guide, so we're assuming that you are a new player or a beginner to crafting. Go make a slicer. Yeah, it's a couple more hours of your time, but you can get them up to level 300 in a couple of hours, and then you have a slicer at your disposal, and you can make
On time
things
and on
for them.
budget.
And then vice versa. And then you get a third character. Usually I think about 3 crafters. It just depends on what you're doing.
Results as promised.
But generally, that's kind of how you can keep yourself self-sustaining, especially when you get into those missions that take much longer to complete. Send him out to do a mission, send him out to do a mission, send him out to mission, send them out to do a mission. You got 4 characters sent out on missions, and then you log back over and you do adventuring for 30 minutes. Then you wrap up your session, you go collect all your goodies, send them out again, and you log out. And it's a very organic grind if you want to do it that way, as opposed to just sitting here and working on that. But it's great to be self-sufficient, and you can make all your own weapons and armor and everything else. So anyway, that is essentially how to harvest, craft, all from here. Now, there's another caveat to this. You can also harvest while you're in the world. Your scavenging skill, in this case, will allow you to scavenge items you come across in the game world and in flashpoints. Similarly, there are certain shortcuts in flashpoints that if you have your crew skills leveled up appropriately, different flashpoints have different crew skill puzzles. But if you have the appropriate crew skill, it'll let you bypass certain sections of the flashpoint or get into areas where there's chests and things of that nature. So it's a really fun little additional component. Is you're not just using it in this enclosed space, but your crew skills also come in handy in the game world as you're out there adventuring in Star Wars: The Old Republic. We have some more recipes I could learn here. You know, these are some mods. Same thing. I can craft the blue mods, choose to deconstruct them, and gain rare recipes that way. So, lots of different options here. So, in a nutshell, everybody, that is, I mean, we're 30-ish minutes in at this point. I feel like that's a pretty robust beginner's guide to crafting in Star Wars: The Old Republic. Now, obviously, as always, if you found this video enjoyable, like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon, and never forget to let the Force be with you. Until next time, everyone, stay safe. Happy gaming.